Okay, so Monday morning I got another out-of-body experience, and it was pretty fun. It was weird. I just wasn't expecting one. I just wasn't expecting it at all, even though I started talking to the beings or whatever. So anyway, I woke up at like freaking 5 a.m. and I couldn't get back to sleep, and I think I finally went back to sleep about 6:30, and then that's when I got this abduction, and on Monday morning. And so, okay, was that yesterday? Oh no, that was 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. And so anyway, so I started talking to the beings, and I always talk to Joel, and then I always say, like, do any other beings want to come forward and give me, or any other species or whatever, want to come forward and give me an out-of-body experience? This one was kind of asked backwards because, okay, now, because when these beings, well, it was probably just one being, but when the being took me, I already was in the experience. I don't, because normally, it'll be like they'll abduct they'll suck out my consciousness, and then they'll travel with it, and I'll be traveling at like a high rate of speed, and I'll be thinking, okay, when am I going to land in the virtual reality scenario? And then finally I always do. But this time, but sometimes it does happen ass backwards, where like they just somehow, bam, place me in this scenario, and I don't remember them, taking me out of body, so to speak. I'm just, bam, conscious when I, get into the virtual reality scenario. I'm conscious at that point once it starts. And then at the end of the experience, then I'll be traveling at a high rate of speed. But this time I was confused because I already had the virtual reality experience, the out-of-body experience, and then I started, my consciousness, I started traveling at a high rate of speed, and I remember thinking, okay, when am I going to be thrown in the virtual reality scenario? But I already had completed it, and then boom, I was back in my bed. So this one was, where they like somehow, just like Joel does it, so, sometimes like that, he'll abduct my consciousness and travel with it instead of like my whole astral body traveling. So this being did that same thing. It's just this one kind of confused me for some reason, because it was kind of ass backwards. So anyway, so I got an experience, an out-of-body experience, on Monday morning, and like I say, I couldn't go back to sleep, and I was talking to the beings, but I wasn't really expecting one at all, and then boom, I got one. And so then anyway, the still-eyed beings, they kind of look like grays, but they're not grays. I think it was one of those beings that gave me this experience. They give me like my orb artwork and stuff in my backyard. I haven't been out there in a while to take pictures and stuff, but this is some of the orb artwork they give me. Well, not orb, but this isn't an orb. This is, they morph into birds and shit. They'll morph into birds and all that. They can even put colors and stuff to their little, what they morph into. Yeah, so anyway, and they know that I think that they look like sills. They kind of look like sills, groundhogs, kind of like, let's see, sills, groundhogs, there's some other things that they remind me of. What are those other things called? Those other animals? Yeah, groundhogs, sills, bears, but without the snout. But anyway, those beings give me all this orb artwork and stuff, and they know that, I think that they look like sills or whatever. Or some of them anyway look more like sills. Other ones may kind of look more like a groundhog or whatever. At least, I don't know, their eyes or whatever, and their energy or whatever. So anyway, and they know that, and I have been watching those animal shows, like on Saturday mornings, and they will show a lot of shows with reptiles, and then they'll show a lot of shows dealing with sills and stuff. And that was just recent, like on Saturday, where I was watching those shows, So anyway, so this was kind of funny. So, like, I don't know if, I mean, it still could have been a reptilian that gave me this experience. I don't know, because when I was standing there on the back porch, I was out of body. That's when the scenario started. I was just, bam, standing there on my back porch. And I knew I was out of body and everything. I knew I was under the abduction, so to speak. And because I started thinking, I started thinking, like, okay, when is Joel or whatever, or something like that, when is Joel going to do sexual things or whatever? Because he always does sexual things. But there wasn't any sexual stuff in this experience. So I don't know if you know, if it really was him or if it really was a soul-eyed being. Because I don't know if those beings can, you know, give out-of-body experiences and stuff. But anyway, but those could have been my own thoughts, or the being could have somehow, or you know what, it could have been just interference. Yeah, because this isn't something a reptilian would do, you know, give me this kind of experience. Well, but I mean, it's still likely he could have gave me this experience, but I mean, like, the soul-eyed being could have given me the experience, and then I could have had interference by Joel, you know, like implanting me thinking those thoughts, like, when is the sexual stuff going to begin or whatever, because he always does sexual things. Okay, so yeah, so anyway, I still believe a soul-eyed being probably gave me this experience. And so anyway, so it was really quick. So anyway, so, but like I say, my mind started astral traveling, so to speak, at the end of the experience. And then that's when, boom, it was over with and I was back in my bed. But I was confused because the whole time I was traveling, I kept thinking I was going to be placed in another scenario, another virtual reality scenario. Okay, so anyway, so the experience started about 6 a.m. And I was just standing there, you know, out of body on my back porch, you know, which is high off the ground, several feet off the ground. And I was standing there and I was like, okay, I'm out of body. I'm going to do a couple, you know, forward flips. So I did a couple forward flips, and then I looked up, and the sill, it was a sill, a light colored sill, floating in the air, like floating. It was flying, basically flying, floating at a pretty low rate of speed, and it was above, it was a little bit above me. So it was, you know, you're talking about, you know, see, 12 feet in the air or whatever, 12 or 13 or 14 feet high. It was a little, you know, above me, you know, coming directly at me, but kind of over to the right. And so I looked up and I was seeing this sill flying, and then I cocked my head over to the right, and then it kind of flew up towards the top of my house, you know, the back part of my house, which I was standing there on the, you know, back porch. And then there was like a big tree there, which I really don't have, you know, big trees there. I do have a bush, a very low bush, but this was like a tree that was kind of like placed in the back of my house. But like I say, in real life, I don't really have a tree there. And the sill flew up and took a bite out of the freaking, it was so funny because it took a bite out of the top of the tree. Almost like, you know, the beings, they don't really live in our reality, so they kind of get confused with things. You know, they don't know our reality 100%. So it was like as if the sill was a bird or something, and it was like, I don't know, it was just trying to maybe eat something out of the tree or something. Or, you know, I mean, because sills, they eat fish and they don't fly. So it's just kind of weird. But I know, I think these beings can give out-of-body experiences, because there was that other one where they gave me one for my birthday, an out-of-body experience, and then they turned around and gave me another one on Christmas. And I know those weren't the reptilians that gave me those experiences. It was these psyllid beings. So I guess they do, some of them do know how to give out-of-body experiences. But it's just kind of funny because sills, you know, they swim in water and they will go up and, you know, swim up and eat a fish. But this sill was floating, you know, floating through the air, swimming through the air, so to speak. And then it just went up and bam, you know, grabbed a big chunk out of the top of the tree. Oh my God. Tours in heat. So anyway, okay, I'm trying to remember if there's anything I'm forgetting, and I don't think there is. Okay, the tree, the sill. Okay, I don't think there is. Like I said, this. Oh, okay. So then, like I said, this was very quick, but it was just so different, you know. So that's why I wanted to talk about it, because it was different. Yeah. So anyway, so after the experience, after I saw the sill like go up, fly up, and eat a big chunk out of the top of the tree, then, you know, then the being started to place me back in my body. But to get me back in body, they had to take my astral mind or whatever and travel with this. So then I started traveling real fast at a high rate of speed for a long time, and then all of a sudden I was back in my bed. But as I was traveling, it's like you know, and I thought, okay, when am I going to be placed in this scenario? Well, at that point, you know, I didn't realize I had already had the experience until I woke up, and I was like, you know, I remembered everything. Except, you know, like this experience was kind of ass backwards, because sometimes, you know, they'll take me and I'll astral travel. They'll astral travel with my mind, so to speak. I'll be traveling, you know, with my brain consciousness at a high rate of speed, and then boom, I'll be placed in the scenario. And then, but sometimes it happens both ways too. The front, you know, the beginning of the experience and the end of the experience. But this time, I don't remember them traveling with me to get to the scenario. They just placed me in the scenario, and then at the end of the experience, they astral traveled with my brain consciousness, so to speak. And like I said, I was thinking, okay, when am I going to be placed in this scenario? But I had already had this scenario, but I didn't realize it, you know, at that point until after I woke up, and then I remembered everything, and I was thinking, okay, well, that experience was kind of ass backwards. But yeah, sometimes I'll remember both. Like when they take me, I'll be traveling. They'll suck and you can feel them doing this. You can feel them tampering with your like mind, and you'll feel kind of like they're trying to suck your mind consciousness out, and then they'll travel with it, and then you'll travel for a long time, you know, for many minutes seems like, and then boom, they'll place you in the scenario. And then when they get done with you, they do the same thing at the end of the scenario, and then boom, you're back in bed. But it's just this time I remembered the end, you know, them taking my mind and traveling with it after the experience, but I don't know, they just somehow confuse me or something. But what else was I going to say? Maybe, I think that's it. But anyway, shit, I thought there was something else I was going to say. But, so anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm forgetting. And maybe not. But yeah, I can put that other video in here a few years ago when they gave me a cool one for my birthday, and then an out-of-body experience for my birthday, and then out-of-body experience for Christmas. And that was around 2014. Or it could have been 2013. But anyway, it was fun. But anyway, yeah, I'm trying to think. Something about when they suck your brain consciousness out. Shit. Well, I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, so, that was pretty much the end of the experience after and so, sometimes though, you will, instead of flying, instead of your brain consciousness flying like horizontally, sometimes, there was one experience where I think the reptilians and grays gave me all 4 of those back to back on a Saturday morning. One time I got 4 back to back out of body virtual reality type experiences, like bam, 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 bam. That was back in 2013. And at the end of the experience, after they grabbed, after the black-eyed adult grabbed my left wrist, then that virtual reality experience was over with, and then they traveled with me down. I kept falling, and that happens a lot. I was traveling down, like I was dropping down, 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 down at a high rate of speed, you know, instead of horizontally. And I was scared because whenever they travel with me down like that, I keep thinking they're trying to take me to hell, you know, the reptilians. But yeah, so, but I can talk about all the other stuff later, you know, the sensations, how they take me out of body and stuff. They take me out of body thousands and thousands and thousands of ways. I mean, they literally could just, bam, come to your bedroom, like fly in your bedroom, so to speak, super fast, and they just like, they could just kind of use their hands, so to speak, and just like pill, almost like just pulling like they just kind of pill the top of you out, your astral body, and then they just throw you in a virtual reality experience. So they may travel with you first, or you may astral travel first, but yeah, they'll just, almost like, one of the beings did that to me. Like, they just kind of like pilled, like really lightly, your astral body just, you know, pilled you out. Almost just like, you know, if you put a shrimp laying down and you just kind of pilled the shell off delicately. Kind of like that. But, I mean, they're magical. I mean, yeah, very, very magical. And anyway, so that was my experience with the Sill-eyed aliens. They're kind of angelic, kind of aliens. And like I say, they give me the lots of artwork and stuff, orb artwork. In my backyard, they'll morph into birds and turtles and flowers and stuff like that. There's still a couple more orb videos I need to do that I haven't done yet. But thanks for listening.